snow is a factor for several cities that these teams
Yeah.
play in, maybe not in the Pac-12 or out west. Looking at the snow, are there certain positions or units, any coaches or any kind of scheme that is a game plan against snow? Because some people excel in this. So I looked at the example of LaShawn McCoy, who played in the Snow Bowl of 2013, and we saw how the footing was a big issue there. Players were slipping all over with 2 to 3 inches per hour falling through the 2013 Eagles-Lions game. He was able to score and had a career high rushing yards. Then he plays again in that 2017 game, Colts at Bills. He's now playing for the Bills, had his highest rushing yards in that game as well. So I know this is a better question for the NFL. Maybe quarterbacks we've seen a lot, running backs. Any trends you're seeing of players we should be specifically looking out for that excel or aren't so hot in these kind of elements?
So not so much specific players, but there is, I think, a big misconception around snow. And it's that people think if it's snowing, it's going to be just as hard to move the ball as if it's raining. And that's not true, because snow is at least sometimes a drier snow, not like a thick, wet snow that gets the ball slick and makes it hard to throw. What the snow really does, and you mentioned it, is impact the footing of the players. So what that does is it slows the whole game down. It slows down the pass rush. It makes it so that these offensive players, who at least know where they're going, have an advantage over the defensive guy. The cornerback is backpedaling, trying to catch up with the guy who's making sharp cuts. It impacts everyone's footing and it slows the whole game down. But that's an advantage for a quarterback. If they have an extra half second or second to make that read, they can hit the open receiver because the defender's trying to struggle with his footing. So we've seen a lot of high scoring games, whether it's running backs, like you mentioned, or even quarterbacks. Like Tom Brady, I think, threw for 7 touchdowns one game in the snow. It's not the negative side that you would expect, unless it's the snow with the wind. And once that starts happening, then all bets are off. But just in general, if you're talking snow games, it can be an advantage to offenses, which I think a lot of people don't realize.